father of computers? Then for my last question, what was the first programming language? All right, here are the questions. Questions is an array of strings, a one-dimensional array. Now we'll create a two-dimensional array of options. We will create a two-dimensional array of strings, named options. We have 5 questions. That means we need 5 arrays. 1 array for each question. I'll place each of these on a new line for readability. Our first array within our 2D array of options will hold all of the options for our first question. Each value within this first array is going to be strings. And I'm going to zoom in a little so we can both read it. What is the main function of a router? That will be encrypting data. Option 3 will be for directing internet traffic. That's going to be the Facebook launch. Bill Gates, Alan Turing, or the first one. Could include this with our declare variable step. We will create an integer array of answers in language. One more thing, we're going to create a one-dimensional array. What are the correct answers? We'll need some sort of key. We could include this with our declare variable step. We will create an integer array of answers. We will list the correct answers as integers. The correct answer to question 1 is directing internet traffic. So we will list three. For the next question, what part of the computer is considered the brain? That is the CPU. Option 1. Facebook was launched in the year 2004. That's 2. Who is the father of computers, that is Charles Babbage. Programming language is score. We can set that to be 0 if we would like, and an integer of guess. Guess is going to store whatever the user types in, 1 through 4. So it's going to be an integer. We will also need a scanner to accept user input. Scanner equals new scanner. It doesn't really matter where we declare it, just as long as we declare it before we use it. System.in, and then we will import this class. Import java.util.scanner, and then close our scanner at the end of our program when we're done with it. Scanner.close. Alright, here are the variables we'll need, including our options and our questions. Our next step is to create a welcome message. When we're done with it. Scanner.close. Alright, here are the variables we'll need, including our options and our questions. Our next step is to create a welcome message. Let's output the following. Let's say welcome to the Java quiz game. And then I'll add some separators. A bunch of asterisks, because I think it'll look cool mostly. We have our welcome message, and I'll just perform a test run. It's a good idea to test your code as you're coding it, just to be sure that everything is working fine. And that is our welcome message. Now we'll loop through all of the questions that we have. We'll probably want to use a for loop. We will create an index of I. Int I equals 0. We'll continue this loop as long as I is less than the length of our array of questions. Questions access the length property, which will return a number, in this case 5, because there's 5 questions. We will increment I by 1. As a test, let's print our questions at index of I. I will start at 0, so we're returning the first question at index 0. Then during each iteration of this loop, we will display each question. Let's do a test run. So here are the 5 questions. we're displaying each element of our array of questions. After each question, we have to list all of the different options. That's the next step. We'll display a question, then create a nested loop to display all of the options. I'm going to use an enhanced for loop for this. What is the data type of each value within each array within options? Well, we're working with strings. The inner for loop is going to be an enhanced for loop. The data type of each value is a string. String option, colon, meaning in, our array of options at index of I. Options is a two-dimensional array. If we retrieve a value at a given index, we'll be given an array. Display every option in each inner array. So to demonstrate that, let's print each option. So here's what we have. After printing each question, we will each inner array. So to demonstrate that, let's print each option. Display every option in each inner array. So to demonstrate that, let's print each option. So here's what we have. After printing each question, we will loop through and print all of the options. Now, before moving on to the next question, we have to get some user input. We don't want to display all the questions right away, just one at a time. So we will do this within the outer for loop, after printing all of the options. This is where we will get the guess from the user. We will create a prompt to enter your guess, and I will use print instead of print line because I like the user input on the same line. We will assign our variable of guess. Guess equals scanner dot next int. The user is going to type in a number 1 through 4. Then we have to check our guess. Is it correct or not? We can do the following. We'll use an if statement. If our guess is equal to our array of answers. If our guess is equal to our array of answers, it's a one-dimensional array at index of I. I. We're using the index of I because we're still within our for loop. During the first iteration of this loop, I will be 0. So is our guess equal to answers at index 0? If that is correct, let's print the following. Let's say correct. And for fun, I'll add some text decoration. Some of those separators. Again, it's not necessary. I just think it'll look cool. Else, if our guess doesn't equal our answer, well, we can check that with an else statement. If we don't have the correct answer, that means we have the wrong answer. And I will output wrong. And I will just space this out a little bit. All right, let's do a test run. For the first question, the correct answer is 3. I'll type in 3, then we print correct. Which part of the computer is considered the brain? I will intentionally get this wrong. Let's say the GPU. Wrong. And I'll guess the others. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Then we have to calculate a final score. Okay, then we have to display the final score. So after we get the correct answer, we will increment our score by 1, score plus plus. Then we will display the final score. Your final score is... I'll use string concatenation to keep this simple. We'll add our score variable plus the words out of plus we're going to get the length of our questions. Questions is an array. Questions.length property. I'm just going to add a space right before out because I'm forgetting that. Let's run this one last time. Let's run this one last time. What is the main function of a router? That is 3, directing internet traffic. Which part of the computer is considered the brain? That is the CPU. What year was Facebook launched? I'm going to get this one wrong intentionally. I'm going to say 2000. And that is wrong. Who is known as the father of computers? That is Charles Babbage, 4. What was the first programming language? Well, the first commercially available programming language. that would be 3, Fortran. Correct, your final score is 4 out of 5. Alright everybody, so that is an interactive quiz game that you can create using Java.
Working across teams is tough, but Asana helps you handle it. That's because
What is going on everybody? In this video, we're going to create a game of rock, paper, scissors for beginners. So let's get started. As a beginner, when creating a project, it could be helpful to you to break down a project into smaller steps. Just as comments, I'm going to list the different steps that we'll need to take. So let's say first we will declare our variables, then get a choice from the user. Hello everybody. Hello. Then I will use the OR logical operator. Let me zoom in so you can see it. I'm adding OR to the end.